Rural Matters on Isuikwuato Erosion side.
So mboza bidoro ọhụụ arụchara ya anyị bido na agba ya o bido anyị mma dụkwa na anyị ụtọ Isuikwuato enwe na ụzọ but nwa mgbe nta ụzọ abịa mebie then onye ọbụla nọrọ n'ahụhụ ya ma onye ukwu ma onye nta ma nwoke ma nwaanyị ma nwanta ma dị mkpa ọkachasị ụmụ skuul ọkachasị ụmụ skuul so through this ụzọ ụmụ skuul a na-enwe ike ịga skuul mgbe ha kwesịrị ịga skuul egbute obere diversion esi ya na na-ama na-eji ya were ya na-aga ịgakwa n'ụzọ nke ọdọ ọ dịkwa mma tili rich abso nke ọnụ mgbago ebe akwa tili rich abso ebe olulu ukwu ahụ dị ụzọ ya dịbekwa mma up till now.
This is the cry of the people of Orurala in Oguduasa, Isuikwuato local government area of Abia State. The danger and countless economic loss by Isuikwuato community that is ravaged by erosion, and their cry for government urgent attention is our concern on today's episode of Rural Matters. It is another edition of Rural Matters on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. My name is Chioma Nkwanta. Today on Rural Matters, we are in Eluama, Isuikwuato, precisely Ngboro community. Now, this community has been plagued by erosion. Erosion is eating deep into the sands of this community. As you can see where I am standing right now, this is actually a waterway built by the construction company, Deep Orange Construction Company, all the way from Port Harcourt. They actually built this waterway to allow for easy flow of water so that the water coming out from the erosion site will not flow into the stream of this community, the Ngboro stream. Because we heard that whenever it rains and water is passing through, because of how bad the road is, it affects their water, their drinking water. So they had to actually construct this waterway. But aside that, the Orange Construction Company is also here to carry out erosion control. That's one of the things that they are doing here, because this is an erosion site and it is eating deep and deep and deep into the community. But they are here to actually control the erosion. We also heard from someone that they've been here since 2012 and they're still here, although we did not meet workers on the site today. But then, looking at history and when the erosion started, as far back as 1992, that's when the erosion on this particular road started. But it became worse in the early 2000s. And the members of this community have been suffering this particular thing since 1992. Rural Matters on Flow 94.9 FM is here to look at the level of work done on the road. Because yes, work is being done on the road. But to what extent? The journey has started. Let's go. We are presently at the erosion site here at Oguduasa, Isuikwuato local government area of Abia State. As you can see the signboard behind me, it reads Land Reclamation and Gully Erosion Control Works that is ongoing here in Oguduasa community in Isuikwuato in Abia State.
I'm Stanley Emenike. I'm onye Umobela Isuikwuato. No n'ime Isuikwuato local government area. So mgbe ụzọ bidoro ọhụụ arụchara ya anyị bido na-agba ya obi dị anyị mma dịkwana anyị ụtọ Isuikwuato enwe na ụzọ pọtụ nwa mgbe nta ụzọ abịa mebie then onye ọbụla nọrọ n'ahụhụ ya ma onye ukwu ma onye nta ma nwoke ma nwaanyị ma nwata ma dimkpa ọkachasị ụmụ skuul ọkachasị ụmụ skuul so through this ụzọ ụmụ skuul a na-enwe ike ịga skuul mgbe ha kwesịrị ịga skuul ebute obere diversion esi ya na na-ama na-eji ya were ya na-aga then ịgakwara ụzọ nke ọdọ ọ dịkwa mma till reach Abso nke ọnụ mgbago ebe akwa till reach Abso ebe olulu ukwu ahụ dị ụzọ ya adịbekwa mma up till now.
Okay, onye isi kemgbe agbara ụzọ a enwere ike cheta mgbe a rụrụ ụzọ ọhụrụ tupu ya ebido mebiwe ụta afọ
ọ dọba m anya should be 1976 if I'm not mistaken through nna ukwu Ndubisi Kalu through Ndubisi Kalu 1976 ka rụrụ ụzọ.
Okay, kedu mgbe o bidoro mebiwa?
Enwe m ike ịkpa aha si lekwa mgbe o bidoro mebiwa mgbe ọ bịara the worst ka ọ bịara pụtazie ihe otu a ndewosa.
Okay, nke a rụrụ ya ọhụrụ ugbu a kedu mgbe ha bidoro ya ọhụrụ maka ama m n'ụzọ eruola
arụbeghị ya arụ na nwere ihe nwere arụrụ ebe a
ka ha bidoro ugbu a igrade ya dịtụwa ụta because ama m mgbe ụzọ a na-atụdị ụkwụ
it was let me say last month a month ago ka aka bidoro nwe ike na-agba ya na-agatị ya obere obere.
Okay, ụzọ ọnwụ na-arụ ya kedu ebe ụzọ na-aga site Isuikwuato kedu ebe ọ na-aga?
Ọ gara tili ruo Uturu Abso Uturu Junction ala Uturu na-agawa Ọkigwe.
Nke pụtara na ọnwụ na-arụzi ụzọ onye na-aga Uturu aga agbakwa express ọ gbachite Isuikwuato
mba ọ ga-agbakwa express Ọkigwe express ọ ga-agbazi otu ala Uturu.
Ọ bụrụ ndị Ọkigwe gbochi ụzọ ha site n'Imo onye abịa ga-esikwa ebe a gaara Uturu
straight.
Ndị ọnwụ na-arụcha ụzọ kedu uru ọ ga-abara unu?
Ezigbo uru ka ọ bara n'anyị ma onye ukwu ma onye nta. Ọ bara anyị ezigbo uru ma onye ukwu ma onye nta anyị mara na anyị adịla oke.
Okay, ndị Isuikwuato kedu ihe na-arụpụta ọ bụ na asị ka arụwa ụzọ kedu ihe na-arụpụta ga-emenụ gọọmenti asị mgba ka anyị rụọ ụzọ ngwa ike bara ukwu bara onye nta?
Thank you sir. Anyị na-akọpụta ji apụ nga ọ dị oke anyị na-enwetakwa mmanụ nga ọ dị oke anyị na-akọpụta aṅara nga ọ dị oke plus other things. Ma cashew anyị na-akọpụtakwa cashew dọkwa n'ebe anyị very very well.
Nke pụtara ọnwụ na-eme ya ihe ndị a ga na-aba n'ahịa ngwa
easily ya na-apụta ọsịsọ anyị nwe ụzọ esi ebupụta ya.
Ngwa nwere ike ịgwa gọọmenti ka ha mee gbasara ụzọ
ya na-ekwu Chineke mebere ka gọọmenti nwee ike mee ọsịsọ gbatara ya ọsọ enyemaka ka ọ ghara edutukwu more than this ka ọ ghara ịdụkwa njọ karịa otu a.
Okay, ewepụ nke a na ya wa Anambra o nwere ebe ụzọ Anambra na-enye nsogbu n'ụzọ
very very well nke ka nka
o nwere nke karịa nka
ebe ọ dị nwa before ga eruo Abso.
Aha m bụ Job Ofegbu onye Ogudasa.
And your job right now on this
ugbu a anyị bụ m otu onye n'etiti ndị na-eche nche nga ịghọtago since 2012
that's when this construction company came
started. Mgbe o bidoro.
What's the name of the construction company?
Deep Orange Construction Company.
Okay. And what is their aim on this road? What's their job?
Job ka emezie erosion akwụrụ ka nguzo abaro edobe ọdọ.
Okay, so they are not about fixing the road. They are about
for market erosion.
Okay, the erosion. Reclaim the land. Okay.
So emecha ya ma nke mmadụ na-arụ ọrụ kwesịrị abịa adịkwanụ udo mma n'anya ya mere ha ji na-azụ ka ha dozie mgbe ha na-arụ ya ka ha metekwe okporo ụzọ siri ebe jedebere ha.
This particular job now, for how long has it been going on?
I mean, call ya now. Of starting mgbe o bidoro bụla February
this year.
Afọ.
Okay, but it looks like they're on break.
Ọ naghị ha break kama ha ji arụ ọrụ ezuru ezu. So ọ bụ ihe niile bụ ego ndị na-arụ ọrụ ebe a ọ bụ na ọ bụ ahụ ekweka dibịa akụ ya bụ mgbọrọgwụ na nsị so nwere ego ọ ga-eji arụ ọrụ so anyị nwekwara m ndị na-eche nche ngo ha na-eche ma ọ dị mma ma ọ dị njọ ha ya da hapụ na hedo nga bụtụ ndị ọrụ ụfọdụ ha be ha ala because ọdụ ọrụ dọnọ even onye isi na-elekọta anyị ọ nọ n'ụlọ.
Okay, so kemgbe bidoro 2012, this is about 9 years now. Or Nurube nga ga-eji conclude onye nwetakwana like ihe bidoro 9 years. I expect that there should be a reasonable progress and at least even wrapping it up.
Ihe kpatara ya ahụ bụ na ọ bụ ekwu ego pata so ndị na-ara ahịa asa dịka contract ha natara through NDDC ịghọtala so ha na-arụ ya so since ha na-arụkwana ya ọkwa ndị Port Harcourt ahụ bụ ndị ji ya bụ ọrụ na-abịa nga arụ ọrụ so mgbe ha bịa n'ọrụ anọ adịnọta esi napụkwa ha ọdọ dịka m ghọtara ebe ego emiele mmiri so ha na-amalejiri arụ ya anyị na-elere anya ka ha rụtọpụrụ anya ka akọkwana anyị na ndị nwe obodo ihe ka ọsọ na-ebute ebe anyị na onwe ihe ọbụla anyị na-aga aga even mmiri ọṅụṅụ anyị hụ ya ụlọacha ododo ọlacha ka aja dịkwa ụzọ ya ebe a ebe a ga-ahụ ya na o soro otu ihe mere eji gbatara atụ enyemaka bikos ala nguzo abịa enye anyị nsogbu nnukwu ọ bụ na ike gbado na-agbada ebe e mere ya na-akpọ drainage ebe mmiri ọlile ido mmiri ọlile na-aga agbada so ọ bụrụ na ike a na-akpọ ihe ahụ ihe ukwu bụtụ mmiri uzuzu ruru eje emebichala ha niile anya nwedo mmiri ama onye ebe a mmiri anyị nwe mmiri anyị na-aṅụ.
So apart from Orange Company, which other companies working on this road?
Ọdụ mainly nga m nọ ka mma ọ dị ndị ọzọ ụmụ ndị ji ọrụ ịda mgbago ama m ndị ahụ aga m akọwara gị aha because eso m arụ ọrụ ebe m na-arụ ọrụ ka mma ebe akwana.
So what's your name?
My name is Isuikwuato.
What are you doing in Isuikwuato?
We came here for road construction. We are actually constructing the bridge here because of this erosion here in Isuikwuato.
So far so good. How's the work going?
Yeah, it's going on fine, shall we? Thank God. Everything is going on fine. Just
How long have you been here first?
This is 2 months now.
2 months?
Yes.
Okay.
And the work so far, this Isuikwuato, I don't know about the soil is not good at all. So it's the soil that is actually causing the erosion actually because this is too soft. It doesn't have starch, it doesn't have gum in the sand, yes, it doesn't have gum. So once you just a little flow of water, it will create an erosion. So if government can control these ASICs, not to allow water to go through, at least let them go directly to that gutter, I think the erosion will stop.
Okay, so that's like your suggestion?
Yes, that's my suggestion.
Okay. Your name first?
My name is Isuikwuato Alexander.
And you are a
chief operator of the company.
Okay. When you first came here to start working in this site, what did you see here?
Yeah, it was a very big value. We feel this in before this level, before we start casting all those things we are seeing here today.
Okay. All right. And since when have you been here?
Since July.
Since July.
Yeah.
This place we're standing right now, it's actually the main road. Cars don't pass here anymore. Yeah. Which other routes do they take now?
They use diversion. Okay. There's a diversion we may put there down to that place that police people they are staying. So that's the diversion. But here you are standing is the major road of this road, the center of the road. Okay.
So this is your work that you're doing now. What's the duration? How long will it last for this work to be completed?
Let's see, before ending of this year, we will reach like 90% of it.
Before the end of this year?
Yeah.
Is December by the end of this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And so far so good. How is the work going?
The work is going fine. The only challenge we are having here is rain. When rain fall, it damage many things. So we start repairing it.
So your particular aim here in this site is to actually do what?
I'm a caterpillar operator. Okay. So I'm the one that brings sand or level. Whether I go to borrow pit, load tipper, then you can see the other machine down there. That one is also used to be in the borrow pit.
So this particular site is for, you want to restore the land?
Yeah, we want to restore the road.
Okay,
the road.
So this is erosion control?
Yeah, this is erosion control. Erosion control.
Erosion control.
Yeah, then we will connect the road back once we get the erosion control.
Ahamba anayo Isuikwuato.
Okay.
I want Isuikwuato. So I'm happy. I'm here. Sorry. Government in name. All that tayo. I la si Chineke gbahume. Ka ha me unulanya una Holland Isuikwuato tabolo nwa la hu. Nkore ma nke nnokwala ihu. O erosion na-emebie. So I'm happy la government chetara anyị. Sị ka ha mee bet ihe m na-ayọ ha bụ ka Chineke gbahume ka ha keshia akwa ikele ukwu rụchakwana ya nge mbụkwana anyị la agba obi ala atọ anyị ụtọ ndị mba ọdọ enwekwana ike ha la agbabata Isuikwuato obi ala atọkwa ha ụtọ l'ozi Isuikwuato dị mma ndewo agbanye mụ na onwe m abụ a politician ọ ha mụte ha si eme bet ọ ga-ebụkwa ihe mma ihe ntọgburu onwe ma ọ bụrụ Isuikwuato wofute somebody ga-eche as a Abia State Governor and dike Chineke ọ bụrụ ome ọ ga-etọgbu ya onwe ile ihe ụzọ ndị ya ụtọ ile n'anya nga isi foto ị ga-emezi na emezi so gọvanọ foto from Isuikwuato ọ ga-emagbu onwe ile ihe ụzọ anyị ga-edu mma ọkụ gala enwekwe nge niile ndewo ama m mgbe o mebiri ile anya ga ahụ otenge niile ndụ I cannot just say when it happened, but in Haima Bohon, government Batara Yosoka and Chabwe.
My name is Mrs. Favor Nkechinya.
Okay. How's business?
Business is not flowing at all because we don't have road in Isuikwuato. Mainly Akara to Abs road. The road is very, very bad. You cannot see where to go when you are going with your car or your even bike. Even to pass with keke is a very big wahala. So we are really pleading with the government they should come to our rescue because we are really suffering in this Isuikwuato. We don't have any road. At least let them repair the main road that leads to the campus so that we can pass to another community. We cannot die now because we don't have any road. We cannot move. We cannot do anything. To do business is a real wahala because when you buy your goods, nobody will come to buy it because there's no road to pass through. So we are really pleading with the government to come to our rescue.
Ngozi Rita Chukwueke.
And you're a businesswoman here?
Somehow.
Okay. How is business?
We thank God. Because in everything we have to glorify God. But when we look at the situation of things, nothing is actually moving because of the lockdown and the bad road. So things are not moving as it's supposed.
Okay, how is this erosion that has cut off the community? How is it affecting business?
Actually, without being told, it will affect the business. One, the movement is restricted. Those people that brings goods out, they cannot be able to bring goods out any longer. And at times when the goods are smuggled out, it will be very, very expensive for people to be able to buy goods. So that is the situation we are passing through now.
All right. Thank you, ma. So what do you actually... How is transportation in the community? Is it...
Wow, transportation is very, very exorbitant. From here to Akara, the bike people will say 200 naira. The buses are collecting 100 naira. So it's very, very difficult. There is no money in the town. There is no business flowing. And I wonder, if not God, it's very hard for people to survive.
So what is your prayer now?
My prayer is that God will come to our aid. And as God comes for our aid, the government should run for our aid too. Because the community and the elites in this community, they are doing their best. But we cannot be able to achieve what is expected of this community without the help of the government.
Okay, you're welcome. My name is Chief Dr. Chukwuemeka Oloha. I am the President General of Isuikwuato Development Union. Isuikwuato is the bigger part of Isuikwuato LGA in Abia State.
Well, we've been to the to some of the erosion sites in this community, and so far so good. What efforts has the community made as regards erosion, the erosion disturbing this community?
Thank you very much. Anybody who understands the terrain of Abia State, and by the definition of Abia North, Central, and South, the northern part of every country is usually mountainous. And in Abia, that is not, the picture is not different. And Isuikwuato particularly is the mountainous part of Abia State. So we have hills and valleys, and because of that, our soil is usually susceptible to flood effect. And even when you create a road and build a road in Isuikwuato, if there are no drainage channels to channel flood properly, before long, there will be disturbance of the integrity of the tarred roads. And that's what we've been experiencing. The history of erosion in Isuikwuato has been a long story. The one that attracted the first attention of the world is the Oruruala erosion site, which started even before the beginning of the democratic dispensation. But in 2005, under the chairmanship of Engineer Charles Ojukwu, who was the elected executive chairman of Isuikwuato LGA, I have it on good record that he organized a visit to the Senate with prominent people from Isuikwuato, and the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria visited the site, and they described it as a sorry site and promised that something will be done. It's a massive one. I believe you passed it as you were coming. It's still not yet back to shape. Something was really done, but I don't know, maybe not enough was done. Or if enough was done in terms of funding, perhaps enough was not done in terms of execution. I can't make a statement on that. But the point is that the contractor, I think the second contractor, because the first contractor was discontinued and then a second one was given the job, he's still on. So the community has been using all its human resources, all its reach. Even recently, the executive committee of Isuikwuato Development Union wrote the senator of Abia Senatorial Zone, drawing its attention to the situation in Isuikwuato, and especially when the Mbelu end, the one that is the major, where the major job is going on now, happened. We also wrote to the governor concerning, in fact, at the time we wrote to the governor, because when that particular section of the road broke down, was cut completely, the governor paid a quick visit. And we wrote him a thank you letter because he promised a palliative measure will be put in place while a permanent solution will be sought. I would say we saw some, there was some work. I would like to use the word skeletal because eventually it didn't solve the problem. So I wouldn't say the governor didn't follow his promise with action, but the thing didn't produce any good result because the road was still not passable. And as time went on, It created a security spot for the community. The entry route to Abia State from other states is that road, if you don't want to pass through the capital of the city. And it's a shorter road. If you are coming from the north, if you are coming from the west, if you are coming from other capitals in southeast, this is an artery road for people in Isuikwuato, LGA, Bendel, LGA, Ohafia, Aruchukwu. At the time, even the Cross River people, Akwa Ibom, were taking that route. With all this, people now are forced to move through Umuahia. And when the security situation became worse, because there is a diversion in the bush, if you went through there, you see, even if you are going through that bush, you have goose pimples because it's so lonely. And then at a time, the bad elements were picking people there. And eventually, we also cried out. So, going forward, the current event, which is a very welcome one to the people of Isuikwuato LGA, who have been cut into two. The two sections of Isuikwuato cannot communicate. Before you do, you have to go and prepare or look for security outfits just to be able to get to your brother the other side. And so we have it on record that at least I'm quoting the contractor, the representative of Isuikwuato in the House of Rep, the lady there, is responsible. At least is said to have worked. To get a job of that achieved, it's not a one man, but there must be an arrowhead. And so, Lady Nkiru Onyejocha. And we are grateful. He is our representative to be able to draw attention from the Ecological Fund. If I am wrong, I am not the one being wrong. It is the contractor handling the job. Because I'm saying this because since that job started, the IDU executive, we've paid 3 visits to the site. The last was 2 weeks ago when we had a meeting with the contractor, the site engineer, the consultant engineer, and all of them. So we had a meeting and they took us through the whole site. So there are 4 sites for them. The 4 sites are the erosion site very close to Apsu, which once you pass that one, you climb up to the cashew plantation. The second one is this one, the major one they are working on. And the third one is there is a place you will pass, a filling station. Yeah. That filling station end. And then the fourth, how many have I counted now? 3. There are 4. But that excludes the Oruruala. That is the point I want to make. The Oruruala erosion, when we visited, we sought to see the contractor just like we saw this other one. And we are not actually satisfied with what is going on there. So the second time we went, we saw the contractor. And he was lamenting on poor funding. Because we told him that the people are not happy. And we need to know what is, he says his problem is funding, that the provisions and the release of fund is very low. And he's been on that job for too long. It's more than 10 years. And we are planning for another meeting with him, because what we want to do is to know exactly a documented situation of that contract job, so that the community will know where we can help, not that we give him fund. If it requires our intervening to the Ministry of Niger Delta, the 2 contract jobs are different. Ecological Fund is taking care of this one, the active sites now. Then the Ministry of Niger Delta is for the Oruruala site. So we want to know what's the way forward. Even as you were passing now, you will see that not much is happening, if anything at all. Because the first time I went there and I introduced myself, it was only one diner park I saw. It was moving forward and backwards. And of course, you know, for a job of that nature, something serious should convince you that. So that is actually the picture. We decided and agreed with the contractor that we'll have a periodic meeting for updates. Looking at the job, we went with our team of engineers from the community, about 4 engineers, including I'm a president, and then of course I'm a medical doctor, and then my executive member. So looking at what we saw and the opinion of our team of engineers, so far we are satisfied with the job. Because we asked all the questions and we got all the answers. And I must say that the contractor was open enough to share the drawings for the job. And we were able to see even some areas where he went a little bit beyond what the extent of his job, which he said he was doing to make sure that nothing will make this job to fail after they're finished.
The roads, the erosion sites, has there been any incident on the road? Probably someone died or something from maybe passing through that road, or any incident exactly?
Yes. Years back in Oruro site, there was one Christmas season, 2 incidences. I can't give the dates, but they happened, in the night. People come back very late, and the people were not from, like I said, that's an artery road into Abia North. A family fell in there, then another was just a lone occupant of a vehicle. He also fell in there, and there were casualties. I'm not sure there was any particular death, to my knowledge. If there was, I am not. But then, like I said, incidents of kidnapping has taken place in the current site that is being worked on. Because if you pass through it, the bush side, what do we call it, diversion, is very lonely. And then a lot of people of our prominent sons and daughters and people from Abia North, even visitors, have fallen victim. So the point actually that needs to be noted is Abia North, and especially Isuikwuato, is a mountainous area. The major problem we have is if we are to have a road, we need to have drainage for it. Okay. You get? Because there's nothing, we didn't create the situation. Once there is drainage, it will give safe passage for the flood. And then the road, what is it called? The soil is fairly strong. I mean, if you lay tarmac, it's strong. But no matter how strong, water, it looks innocuous, but there's nothing it cannot pull down.
Okay. All right, let's gossip a little. We hear this gossip of zoning coming down to Isuikwuato. Do you think this particular local government area is capable of producing a governor for this state?
It's not a gossip. Okay. It's a documented fact. And this fact is validated by the governor that handed over to the current governor. And that is the Abia Charter of Equity. There is a document which occasioned this state you see as Abia. Elders, most of them belonging to our ancestors now, sat together and they agreed. Just like we are talking about Nigeria. We are talking about restructuring. We are talking about Nigeria producing documents that make them to be the people they are. And if you abdicate that document, you may be a strong person today, insist you do that, but with time it will have its repercussions. But I'm sure that document has not been abandoned by Abia people, because the incumbent governor is a product of the equity factor. And he's aware of the seriousness of Isuikwuato people on their right to that position. Because it's when this thing go around in the right way, there will be stability. There will be a good measure of equity. You understand? Isuikwuato people have, as citizens, they've held their various positions in the state. They've contributed their quota. I can't see, I've been in the system, I'm now a senior citizen. I don't remember where an Isuikwuato man has brought shame to Abia State. I will need to be informed. And talking about capacity, you know we are called the land of the generals. That land that produces generals, do you think that land has not produced competent potential governors? Even presidents? We have. We have. But the issue is that it should not be contentious. The powers that be, who are the managers of the state, should make statement on that. Okay. And we are not saying give this position to any Quisling. It should be given to people who are competent. And even every part of Abia know the competent people in Isuikwuato.
Of what benefits would it be to this community?
I will first of all say it will be of benefit to the entire Abia community. Where our people have held positions, they were not parochial. Ndubisi Kanu was in charge of Imo State. At that time, he was not tribalistic. He made sure that everybody what he left behind is still what is making Owerri tick till tomorrow. Ikenwachukwu the same. Our brother, General Ihejirika, brought a lot of respect to Abia by the way he handled issues. I can keep naming. There are many others who are not so high, but check their records. We will perform, and not just we do not believe. Let me say this: we don't believe when you are the governor, you work only in your farm. It doesn't work. It is a self-defeating approach. If you make an Isuikwuato man a governor now, and he begins to employ all the people from Isuikwuato in the system, after 8 years, he will leave. The next man from another area will come. And that man can institute a policy that can remove all those people. And he begins to put his own people. The next will do the same. I hope you get where I'm getting. The best thing is to put the right guys in the right offices. At the end, everybody will be where they are. If God grants us what we are praying for and grants us life, as one of the citizens in Isuikwuato and an Isuikwuato man is handling that office, I know I will have a voice to say that it's not a case of now it is Isuikwuato turn. Let everything, even the capital of Abia, come to Isuikwuato now. It has to, that equity does not only revolve around making the governor. It also revolves around offices and patronages that arise from leadership. That is my position. And that is what I think is the position of Isuikwuato people. We are not asking for that so that we come and grab. Even without our being in the governorship position, we are having our own chances as much as we are allowed. But we will make sure that people see what it means to be equitable, not just in word, but in act. Because in every part of Abia State, you have competent men and women who, when you give them job to do, you thank God that they got that job. And I think Isuikwuato will make sure of that.
Is there any other issue bothering the community? We know that erosion is like the major problem this community is going through right now. Any other issue, like security?
Yes, my submission there is that Abia North is virtually being cut off from Abia State. The erosion site, Isuikwuato, Ahaba, Tuturu, to Okigwe, is already cut off, but for this action now, Umuahia to Ahaba, I hope you pass through it, maybe you passed through it as we were coming. It's a death trap now. And even just yesterday, one of our prominent sons was kidnapped there. A former TC chairman of Isuikwuato AGA. And up to now, it's not yet out. And the reason is that the road is so bad that no matter the type of vehicle, except if you are using a helicopter, if you get to that portion, you must slow down. And yesterday by about after 5 p.m., he was coming back and he had to slow down. And they kidnap him. People who saw his vehicles, all the 4 wings open. The engine was revving. The headlamp was on. And the vehicle, in the course perhaps of his struggling to find a way out, he dived into the ditch. So the road, access road to Abia North, the road from Umuahia to Ohafia through Bende, is also in a terrible shape. So what I'm really saying is something should be done. Because I know that the governor is himself equitable. Let's not allow anybody who may be an enemy to begin to think that attention is not being given to this area. It's not just Isuikwuato, it's Abia North. Like I said earlier, we are not thinking of Isuikwuato alone. Abia is our constituency. If every part of Abia is happy, everybody, we will be happy. I can't stay here alone. Yesterday I came back from Aba. I have to go to I have to go to about every part of Abia State. So the point we are making is that Abia North is under the threat of being cut off from Abia State.
Okay. So now, a solution to all of these problems. We know that the committee that was set up to look into the road construction from the community, according to what you said, was actually satisfied with the level of work done. But then, what solution are you looking for? What are you praying for?
Our prayer is that the contractor will live up to his promise. He told us that he would do, and he was happy with us because at the beginning, there's this feeling of we against you, and we told him we've just come. We even want to be part of a solution to any problem you have. He identified some of the solutions, but these are not necessary to, but we are praying that continuous funding should be made available to him by the people that the Ecological Fund office that gave the job. And then that he himself will keep up to his promise. I believe he will. Because even looking at the job that is done, we felt that there's some seriousness. In the Igbo adage, they said there was a trick that the tortoise played with the elephant. And at the end, when the elephant has cleared the road, he said, now, when any man comes here, you will see that man has met his fellow man. And when you see the thing that is happening there, you see there's something happening. A serious job. We are praying that the Spirit of God will continue with them so that they will deliver this job. And that is the time that we will now give praises to those that it's due. I also want to thank the governor, because even as I'm talking about who brought and who, if the governor does not give an enabling environment, it will be difficult even to start the job. What if on the day or day before the day the job started, the governor mobilized some caterpillars and they came there and said they want to do the road? The federal people will go. So the enabling environment which has been given to them, the community is grateful for that. Like I've said, the erosion, I'm aware of the Honorable Minister's effort on the erosion issue. I've already also signed a letter as the PG of IDU through him. Like I told you, at the time you said, what have we been doing? We've been looking for solutions from any angle. That sort of thing. And we don't really bother too much about how it comes, as long as it doesn't come with insults. You understand? And Oga is our son. He's the minister. Onyeji is a member. He's also a member of the Isuikwuato district in Abia Chata. It's our daughter. So the governor is our son. His sonship is inclusive in our membership of Abia. So we've been looking, and I don't the job you saw today, when it finishes, I don't think it ends and finishes the job in that road. You remember I told you that we are mountainous. There's still a lot. There are places that may be quiescent right now, which if you don't attend to, will become, and the one in Uruala, that contractor needs to be activated. He needs to be, we don't have anything to gain by saying he's not doing well. He's not, what we want, let the job be done, and let's have a peaceful and secure community. So that if I'm going to Enugu, it will be easy. Even going to APSU is a challenge. Whereas at a time, some people, when accommodation problem was raising its head, some were going to work from Isuikwuato. So if the Honorable Minister has done that, I thank him. Because we know that the governance of the Federal Republic is in the hands of Buhari. So whatever anybody can do to bring his attention to us to get things going, we welcome that.